Alright, so today's skit is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to be thanking somebody, actually a few people, for a few things. First off, I would like to thank Pandero for Heroic and Catalyst. I would like to thank him for these things, which I'm already using on my Drifter. All three of them, somehow, it just happened. And we're going to be also thanking Kidder Mochi for fluffy little thingies. Yes, floofs. I remember what they're called. They're called floofs. A motorcycle skin and a pistol. I may or may not have bought one already, but but I do appreciate having a second one just in case I would like to change the build a little bit. So yeah, thank you for that. So yeah, let's get on with it. Also, check out this neat little edit of this GIF I found. Alright, malicious, delicious people, welcome to another video. And, I will say that this video comes with a really big caveat. For one, you need to have an ability to group, keep things still, and you need a really tanky frame. Unfortunately, I do not have a frame, at least that I have built personally, that is more tanky than my Yareli. So this is going to be a second Yareli full build in a row. Keep in mind, I specifically am designing this to work with just the weapon. So yeah, I will be putting that as a little bit of a disclaimer right here. So yeah, the weapon should stand on its own besides the primer and besides the grouping, which we'll be using with Nautilus. Nautilus is built like this. Cordon. Where'd it go? Manifold bond. Oh, no, you know, actually, I'm not using abilities. Why do I have? Oh, I know why I have this on. It's because of the fact that I want to be able to reduce the cooldowns yeah, and I want to reduce the cooldowns. That's why. It's not for the abilities doing damage, but other than that, cordon, manifold bond. Other than that, everything is completely optional. We'll be using Tazicor. Now, this is probably gonna be really interesting to some people. I'm using the Tazicor because it's a chaining beam weapon, which means even though it doesn't have as much status as the Verglass, it still will actually spread further than the Verglass by a slight bit, but it does do it. So we're going to be using Radiant Reload, Magnetic Force, High Voltage, Rhyme Rounds, Shivering Contagion, very important, Hammer Shot, and Split Chamber. It's not fully built, but this is essentially what I would go with. If you were to build it anymore, it would need reload speed because it does kind of sort of pause for 2.5 seconds. Now we're going to move on to the Yareli build. I'm just going to skim over this one since it's not as important. You just need a really tanky frame. I know Yareli works well with secondaries, but I promise you this weapon works without Yareli, so you don't need to be locked into her. But you just need a really tanky frame, or a frame that will be able to stand there and line up headshots, which a little bit of a spoiler to what kind of build we're going to. Yes. We're also going to be using, where'd it go? Sorry, I didn't have it equipped apparently. There it is, the Vesper. I want this one. So the Vesper is, let me put this away. The Vesper is going to be modded like this. Let's tear up the build and I'll show you my thought process. We're also going to be using Deadhead for more headshot multiplier. The unique trait on this weapon is more weak point critical damage, and it also highlights weak points when you look at them. We're going to be using Carnage Stinger, and bear with me here. It does not have slash, and I need the status to be at 90 at least, so I can guarantee a status. We're going to be using Frostbite and Scorch. And we're going to be using Pistol Acuity, which is a 16-point mod. You see where we're going with this, right? We're using Critical and Creeping Bullseye. We're also going to be putting this over here, because we kind of sort of need to. We're using Galvanized Shot. We're using Pistol Cannonade. And we're going to be using Prime Target Cracker. See, the reason why we don't have multi-shot on this is because Pistol Acuity makes it to where it gives more weak point damage, more weak point crit chance, and the multi-shot cannot be modified. That's right. The multi-shot cannot be modified. So we're not going to be using any multi-shot mods. Sorry, I was stuttering a bit there. We're also using Pistol Cannonade for more damage, and the fact that we do not want it to be any slower, because this fucking weapon is already really slow. So, yeah. And keep in mind, Secondary Deadhead is not here for the damage, although it does help. It's actually here for the multiplier, which is very, very nice, which we will very much enjoy. And, yeah, we are using Madurai, however, I will swap it to Inaru to show the weapon on its own without Madurai. There we go. So yeah, let's take it into the Simulacrum and I'll show you what it... Alright, so we're here, and I would like to show you a battle group first. Oh, it's already sucking them in. And keep in mind, we're also going to have Maraluna out, which is going to help us out a little bit. We'll be popping them in the face. It doesn't always get a blast proc, but when it does, oh my goodness. Oh, no blast proc. No blast proc. Don't make a fool out of me. There we go. Thank you. Let me see. Boom. 2 million. Let's do a little bit of math, by the way. See, that was a 2 million shot, right? Keep in mind, this is also going to take into consideration without damage reduction, but let's just say it was 2 million. What does blast do? It triples the damage and spreads it out into a 5 meter radius, right? Triples the damage of a 2 million damage hit. So I am hitting them with 6 million damage at least, right? As long as I get a blast proc, which is important because that's the one caveat with this build. It doesn't always guarantee a blast proc because it doesn't have multi-shot, but when it does, it's very, very nice. So yeah, this is a very good build. However, as I said, you need to be tanky, or you need to have some sort of way to survive. That is extremely good. Keep in mind, I tested it with stealth, and Cordon works, but the weapon doesn't, so you're not going to freeze them, you're just going to suck them in. Which means they're going to be moving, and because they're moving, they're hard to hit. So, unfortunately, Ivara is not a very good choice for this, unless you are able to hit heads really easily, but keep in mind, I mostly target the casual audience, so the casual audience tend to have very low skill, comparatively to somebody who's been playing video games their whole life. So, yeah. So, yeah, we're gonna bring this into a real mission, and we'll be able to see what it does in a real mission. Hopefully, I don't die. Let's do this. Also, my neighbor's dog is barking. I'm sorry. Alright, let's do this. Let's go! Life support has been cut off. Pop Maraluna. Get my first kill. It was a blast proc. Alright. Let me show you. There we go. See, sometimes it doesn't get the blast proc. And I was talking about the fact that you would like to have some reload speed on this drone. The drone kind of sort of has reload issues, so yeah. I could show you what happens on a body shot, but I'm pretty sure you know what that would do. But let me do that anyway. Oh, made a liar out of me. Actually, I might have hit the head. Oh, let me pop that. Oh, Eximus. See, the fact that I have to line up headshots is really interesting because Grineer have back guards, right? And this is what exactly I've been saying about headshot builds in general. Is headshot builds suffer from Grineer having back guards, right? It's literally like the one issue. Besides like, oh, infested having like their heads in a weird spot. Other than like, yeah, I mean there's some infested that have regular heads, but not all of them, you know. But yeah, check it out. It's got super powerful damage. So yeah, it's very nice. Also, I think I wanted to talk about this a while ago, but I never really had a time to do it. I think because you know how you're playing as Yareli, and just like how when Yareli is on Mariluna, you're technically playing as Mariluna. I think the Mariluna that's shooting the balls is a unmodded Mariluna because I'm only getting a 2x multiplier. So, I mean, the fact that I'm only getting 2x multiplier is a little bit unfortunate, but I mean, yeah, it's fine. It still works. Yeah, I will see you in the Acolyte, and we'll see how it does against him or her. I'm kind of wanting to pick on Angst because I don't want to deal with somebody who can block my bullets. Here's hoping. Alright, do I the cat or do I not the cat? Do I the cat? Ah, I do not the cat, although I think this should be okay. Okay, let's go.
Additional life support has arrived.
Oh, you bitch! Hold on. Oh yeah, there we go. I hit her once. There we go. So that I didn't hit her in the head all the time, but I hit her in the head once and I basically almost killed her, so that's cool. Let's get the fuck out of here before I die. Alright, buckle up baby, because this is going to be a little bit of a long build showcase, so let's gonna start off with the drone, very much. Yes, Mr. Drone, hello. So with the drone, we're going to be doing Cordon and Manifold Bond. Manifold Bond for cooldown reduction and Cordon for grouping. Everything else is completely optional, and some of them, like Aerial Bond, I don't entirely know if it works, but it used to. I mean, at least it works with Yareli, so yeah. We're using Tazicor, Radiated Reload, Magnetic Force, High Voltage, Rhyme Rounds, Shivering Contagion, Hammer Shot, and Split Chamber. We do not have Viral on here, however, if you want to use Nourish, I'm not going to stop you. Especially since this is mostly a for fun thing, and if you have fun with Nourish, I definitely would recommend doing it. So, if you have Nourish, go ahead. I do not use Nourish because I want to make sure that you basically have the freedom to modify any of this at all. Even though this is a full setup, so that's unfortunate, but you can make adjustments as much as you see fit. We're going to be showing you the Yareli build. We're just going to gloss over it. This is my level cap Yareli build. This is just mostly survivability. Just a lot of survivability. Velocity too, which is just here. I wish I had a Arcane Aegis that was maxed out. That would be great. And then we're gonna move on to the Vesper, which is gonna be the last part of this. The Vesper is gonna have Carnage Stinger. Keep in mind, this does not have Slash. We just want the status to go up to 90, so we can almost guarantee a status. As long as we can guarantee a status, we have a high chance of getting Blast. Which, right here, it says that we have a 51% chance of getting Blast. So it's a coin toss on whether or not we get Blast, which is very nice. Every other shot, very nice. Probably even more than that if you bet on tails. We're going Frostbite and Scorch for Blast. We Pistol Acuity for weak point damage, weak point crit chance, and multi-shot cannot be modified. So we're not going with multi-shot. We're going to have Creeping Bullseye for more crit and lower fire rate. However, we'll be offsetting that with Semi-Pistol Cannonade which is going to make it to where we cannot modify our fire rate. And we're also going to have 300% more damage and 1.5% punch through, which I'm very happy for. It very much helps. We were using Prime Target Cracker for more crit damage, up to a 5.5% multiplier. And we use Galvanized Shot for more damage on status after every kill, as well as some status chance to, in total, reach it to 93.6%. We're using Secondary Deadhead for more for more damage on the head, as well as more straight up damage. So far, I have tested a few things and found that out of the things I've tested, this is probably the best way to do this. Although, if you want to go with a completely regular setup, just viral heat or corrosive heat, or like, I mean, we can't do slash, so we can't do that. But like, you know, if you just want to do something like that, it's very possible. Keep in mind, I'm never here to try and force you to do anything. And if you have fun with this, that's great. If you don't, that's fine too. Make adjustments as you see fit. This is a very good weapon. It just requires a very tanky frame. Legitimately, you can use any frame you want, as long as you're able to make it survive standing there and pointing at a head. So yeah. Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot to show this. So she has 2 Telforge green shards for armor strip, although it doesn't affect the drone. And I also didn't want to force you to use these, as well as the fact that I don't like putting both blast and corrosive on a weapon, because, you know, some things with like the meta community very I'm not going to get on that subject, but we're going to go with effectiveness on energy orbs, 2 of them, and we're going to be going with a casting speed one, which is going to be very helpful. Trust me, it's very helpful. So yeah, that was the build, and yeah, so have wonderful, wonderful nightmares. I will see you in them. Remember, if you're watching my content, I know you're into it. Honey, honey. Good night.